and so on. But there's all the ingredients of a big story. And Syncrude and oil sands, well, Syncrude is, the life title is one way oil sands can be brought to market. This, basically, oil sands can be marketed either as bitumen, as heavy oil, or very processed as Syncrude. There's a little bit less market appetite for Syncrude because it's competing in the North American market with Bakken crude, for instance, which is, Bakken being pretty much where the Syncrude was marketed. So there's one-on-one direct competition between those crudes. But we do see growth in oil sands, significant growth in the next few years. And the Syncrude that's produced in Canada is not shut in. It's not completely locked, but it's fighting to find new markets. And those markets are largely domestic markets, west and east. And especially east on the Atlantic coast, Canadian Atlantic seaboard, Syncrude is being shipped by rail to refineries in Montreal, in New Brunswick, and there's plans to expand pipeline capacity or revert some existing pipeline to bring crude from Alberta to the maritime provinces. There's some projects to take it west. Some of the oil is making its way west. There's efforts to build pipelines west. There's environmental challenges to developing those pipelines, but clearly, regardless of what happens to Keystone, Canadian production will make its way to the U.S. market, whether it's Keystone or otherwise, it will get there. But also, partly because of all the problems with Keystone, there's strong political will, strong policy determination in Canada to not depend entirely on the U.S. market, but to find other markets for the Canadian crude. And we will see Canadian crude move to the East Coast and to the West Coast, and potentially it could be exported from there to the Asian market or even to the European market. You'll notice that in our map, we didn't put any arrows linking Canada to Asia or linking Canada to Europe. It's not that we don't think it's possible. We're not really sure how it's going to play out politically. There's many challenges to that. But also, we don't necessarily think it will happen on a large scale in the next 5 years. It might be more a story for beyond that.
Just to follow up before we go to the next question, but please come to the microphone. You talked about how the light tight oil boom is changing investment decisions. You also showed CapEx skyrocketing. What's the impact of that in the market, and how is that